Today I had a very interesting realization. I was in a yoga class, new teacher, this older gentleman. He was so down to earth, so cool, great teacher, huge heart, great guy named Jim. So I'm in this yoga class and he's talking about how to quiet the noise and gave this whole teaching about quieting the noise and how, the mind active and relax and yoga and the whole thing. If you've gone to yoga class or two, you know what I'm talking about. And I started to get that a lot of us really struggle with how busy the mind is and the noise, as we or people call it, that kind of fuzzy feeling that has us feel frustrated or anxious or angry or many other things, but that noise around the overactive mind that people, and maybe you, have a really hard time tolerating. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't have noise. Now, I'm not saying this because I think that I'm better than anyone else. I've just been practicing meditation and been on a spiritual path and a lot of transformation for like 20 years, and I'm a celibate monk. So I spend a lot of time reflecting and distinguishing hard feelings versus great feelings, right? And doing a lot of this inner work. So I want to share with you how you can quiet the noise, because I'm there. And this is just a quick little tangent here. You can get there. A lot of meditation and spiritual teachers say there's no there to get, but there actually is, because I'm an example of this. I feel very peaceful and happy and joyful in my life. So you can get there. There is a there. And by the way, when they say the work never stops, it does stop in a way, because the work, we define work as usually it being uncomfortable, right? Something that's kind of challenging. Well, what used to be challenging for you, if you continue in this work and on this path, won't be challenging, and it will be chill. It'll be enjoyable. And again, I'm someone who can tell you that. Work once used to feel like work, and other things that feel like work that are fantastic. But I'm working on a new baseline, and you can do this too. If you practice some of these things diligently and over time, you'll achieve them. I can assure you, because they work for everyone, because we all have minds and brains that function in a human capacity. And it's not, in some ways, it's not that complex, right? So let me just get to it here and share with you how you can quiet the noise, okay? So the first thing is just relax. Now, I don't mean relax, like I say to my friends sometimes, and they don't appreciate that, and even though I'm joking. It's meaning relax, allow. Allow what's there in your mind to be there, and practice not resisting what's happening in your mind. Meaning, and if we don't resist, we accept. That's the definition of not resisting, or the definition of acceptance is something free of resistance. So do your best to allow what's happening in your mind to exist and to be there. The most classic and practical and most popular example of that right now is mindfulness. And you don't have to do anything with mindfulness. If you just sit quietly, in my opinion, it's better with your eyes closed. A lot of practices do them with your eyes open. If you just sit there and do nothing, this is allowing. Because things are just going to come to your mind, and you'll judge yourself, and you'll be stressed and anxious, and you'll feel like, I'm not doing this right. I don't feel peaceful afterwards. Well, when you go to the gym and you work out a muscle once, you're super sore and you don't feel like anything happened. You got to do it for a couple weeks, right? In order for something to occur. And that's usually the case with meditation, unless you are studying with a spiritual master, in which case usually something happens right away because the frequency is so high. So number one, relax and allow. And do your best to practice not resisting and accepting everything that comes to the mind's eye, whatever the thoughts are, whatever the feelings are, and just chill. I mean, you won't feel chill probably because you've got a lot going on, and if there's noise there for a reason, right? But do nothing and practice not resisting what's happening in your mind and how you're feeling, right? Now, number two, after you do that, not at the same time, you've got to do these two things distinct, right? Secondly, see what's driving it. See what you're worried about, what you're angry about, what is frustrating about yourself or some aspect of your life experience, like a relationship or a circumstance, right? And see what's objectively frustrating and angering or irritating, and what you're worried about, and just look at it, right? And just put it out there. Tell it to somebody. Talk to a therapist. Talk to a friend. Talk to somebody where you can just get it out of your mind. Because again, What makes the mind noisy? We turn up the volume when we close the doors. Right? That's how you make someplace really noisy. You turn up the volume of whatever's playing and you close all the windows and the doors. So that step is allowing, like you just allow yourself to listen to the music, step one. Step two, open the doors and windows and share it with somebody in a way that you're taking ownership for your feelings and your experiences. And who cares if you blame somebody or complain or you vent? Let it happen. Just do it. Open the doors and windows of your mind and just let it out and see what's there. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Thirdly, see what belief exists, what beliefs, you could say, exist that fuel the feelings and the thoughts that you have. Now, let me give you some examples. So I am constantly navigating things that were once frustrating or are frustrating to me. One of the things is just relationships that I have, working relationships, professional relationships, friend relationships, right? And it's not like all of them are purely harmonic, like they can be for sure. And with a little bit of action in my own internal work, they are. I can create harmony in any relationship. It's quite interesting. And you can do this too. How we do that is look at what the belief is that exists, the feelings of, I'm just going to use in the case of a relationship that's hard, okay? No matter what, here's a quick axiom. This is step 3, axiom 1. No matter what happens for you, your feelings are your responsibility. And what does that mean? It means that, interestingly enough, one, you're responsible for if you're frustrated, if you're happy. You could probably take 100 people and put them in the same circumstance that you're in, and you wouldn't get 100 different responses, but you'd probably get like 80 people the same response and probably 10 to 20 people who had a different response, right? Actually, more probably like 60, 20, and 20, right? People that thought it was worse, people that thought the way you did, and probably 20% of people were like, it's not a big deal, right? So this is something that you can look at, and this is something that's happened for me, is that, I have some relationships that rub me the wrong way. And at the end of the day, something that I always practice is I free this person from them, I free this person from myself, and I free myself from them. Meaning they get to be and do whoever they want, and I get to be and do whatever I want. Not in like a selfish, calloused way, but I really get the freedom to see their interaction with me around them saying that they were upset that I spent too much at the grocery store, for example. And I was like, well, but I bought all this for you. And they didn't really, appreciate that in the way that I wanted. Fine. So I can express myself. And then if they don't see things the way that I do, fine. It's okay. I'm responsible for that. So I just said, next time I'm not going to do that. And it wasn't there was a hair of resentment in it, but then I was like, it's fine. He doesn't appreciate that I buy the things that he doesn't want, and then it's okay, right? It's just fine. It's just clear. So that can be your life experience, and then you can walk through your life without those hanging resentments anymore. Because I just don't feel that way anymore. I did for a minute. I felt hurt, and I expressed it. Didn't really get seen the way that I wanted to, which is fine. And then we just move on with our lives, right? And that's what I mean around taking responsibility. Maybe you can see that in my life. I've described that well enough that I walk away from that. Okay, do I allow myself to feel sad or angry or not stoked or happy or in awe of the world? No, I don't. I can generate all of that myself regardless of the circumstances. That's a big thing for most people to do. And if you're hearing this for the first time, don't be too intimidated by it. Or I don't know if you don't believe me, but it's how I live. And I would say I practice, even though I'm not 100% at it. But this is a way that you can unlock a way of being fulfilled in your life in a fantastic way. Right? So this was all about seeing what belief exists that fuels the feelings and the thoughts that fuel the noise. Right? And number 4, take action. Right? In my case, I walked away from that interaction. I was kind of like, okay, what do I do? Well, I'm not going to do that grocery shopping thing anymore, or maybe I'll communicate more about it, just that we can kind of meet in the middle. And thirdly, I'm going to relieve him of the expectation of being a certain way so that I get to feel a certain way, right? Now, we're in a roommate relationship, right? It's not an intimate romantic relationship. It's a friendship, right? There's a practical aspect to it. But you can apply this same thing to any relationship or circumstance. So see what belief exists behind those feelings and then take action that reinforces a new belief. And my belief, if you can kind of see what I was saying there, I'll do some psychoanalysis on myself here from me a minute ago, which was there's the belief there, the limited belief that If he does a certain thing, then I'm going to be upset, right? That's one way that I've functioned for pretty much my whole life, I would say, until more recently. And the new belief is he can be however he is and do whatever he does. And at the end of the day or the interaction, I'm responsible for my state, for how I feel, for what thoughts I have, right? And this is my approach of how I don't have noise anymore, because there is an ease that things come and you can deal with them in these steps and in other ways too, and navigate them. But the key pieces are this: relax and allow, right? Allow them to be there. 2, see what's driving it. 3, see what belief exists. And then 4, take action that's based on that new belief. Give it a shot. Let me know how it goes.